that I get to wrestle with him.
You get to wrestle with him?
Yeah, and I like to.
You like to do that?
Huh?
What else do you like to do with your dad?
Play with him.
I am with one of the best dads I know, Chris Montana, and we're gonna talk a little bit about what it means to be a dad. Chris, how many kiddos do you have?
3 boys.
3 boys.
Oldest is 4, so
Okay.
we're gluttons.
Under the age of 4. Is that busy?
It is as busy as I have ever been.
Don't you think it's funny when people say they're so busy and they don't have kids? I don't want to really laugh at them, but it's like you don't understand what.
You don't want to be snotty.
No, but you never understand what busy is until.
It's another gear, right? You find it, and everyone finds it, but it is definitely another gear.
What is your favorite part about being a dad?
God, I love so many parts about being a dad. You know, I have these little boys who run around, and whatever I do, they want to do too. And you know, if I come in and sit down, this actually happened the other day. I sat down and one of my boys said he didn't like onions, and I said, well, I like onions. He's like, well, I like onions now too. And
You gotta love that.
Come on, right? I mean, if that doesn't brighten up your day, then you need to loosen up the screws a little bit.
Do you have one moment that sticks out for you that was sort of a defining moment about being a dad?
Yeah, well, this might be a little bit of an odd answer, but my pivotal dad moments have much more to do with my wife than with my kids.
Okay.
Right? Because, you know, I had an idea of what I was going to be as a dad. She had an idea of what she was going to be as a mom. But, you know, until you actually are in it, you don't know what you're going to be as parents. And I think that one of the better skills that any dad can have is probably figuring out how to work with mom. Right? And
what are you saying about us, Chris?
I'm not. No, I mean it's tough when you know you think this is what I think is going to be best for my little boys, and she's thinking something different, and you realize that you're both only 50% of the puzzle, and you have to come together to come up with a solution. And it's not a dictatorship on either side.
No.
And I think that to me, like as far as what's going to be great for them as they grow up, is to have 2 parents who can do that, and that's both. My wife is used to running things, and so am I. And so, maybe that's why we're attracted to each other, but it also creates some conflict. But I think it creates a cool opportunity for both of us to grow as parents and think about, well, what can we do that's best for these munchkins?
That's awesome. What is your favorite thing to do with your boys?
I like playing any kind of game with them. I mean, they're very physical, and I don't mind that. And so, if they have it their way, then all we're doing is wrestling and rumbling in the house in every room in every way. They really like baking with me.
They do?
Yeah, they love it. And if I make anything, regardless of what they're doing, TV could be on anything, they will run in and they'll want to bake with me. And they want to mix things, and they know the rules.
Which is science. Basically, it's science.
It is science.
Yeah, that's
So
awesome.
we're getting them started early.
That's awesome. Do you have a memory that you want to share with us about your dad?
Well, with me, it's kind of an interesting bag because I didn't have a dad that was part of my life until I was adopted at 14. And that definitely affects the dad that I am now. I obviously, have my dad to look at, and, from a teenager on, I had him as a role model, and I definitely try to live up to his standard. But then I also remember that when I was that young kid, when I was 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I didn't have that dad there. And so now I try to be what I wanted when I was a kid. And I try to be that, supportive, but also guiding influence that I know that I needed and wish that I had had.
That's very inspirational, honestly.
Well, there's only 2 ways you can really go with it. Either that's going to be the basis of a good story or a bad one. It's either an excuse or it's an opportunity. And for me, I think that it's an opportunity for me to think a little more about what I'm doing with my kids, because I know the impact that it can have, and I know the impact that the absence can have. And so that affects what I do in my work. It affects, once upon a time I used to be at work all the time, but as they grow up, I know that someone needs to be there. And I know that dad needs to be a physical presence that is there in the home, and doing multiple things in the home, not necessarily just showing up to wrestle. Right. So that every day that guides what I do with them.
That's awesome.